Green Transition Minister, who's also the Member of Parliament for Yape Kusogu, the Honorable John Jinapor, this morning. Honorable Jinapor, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Great. Now, let's do it this way. I mean, over the past 24 hours, there's been lots of, conversation about a proposed, acquisition of Springfield Exploration and Production Limited's interest in certain oil properties located in the Afina Sankofa field offshore Ghana by GNPC through Explorco. First of all, let's get the understanding. Is that the plan of GNPC's Explorco? Are there discussions about a possible takeover?
Good morning. Let me confirm without equivocation that there are discussions ongoing. And so let me confirm that for you.
Great. Now, help us understand, the idea behind it. Why have these discussions become necessary? Why does GNPC's Explorco want to take over, Springfield Exploration's interest in the Afina Sankofa field offshore Ghana?
Thank you. Springfield is an indigenous Ghanaian company. And so as minister, whatever I can do legitimately, fairly, within fair conscience, to support a Ghanaian company, I'll do it. And I have no regrets for that. However, I wouldn't bend back, I wouldn't breach the law, and I'll put Ghana's interest first. So like you said, why this discussion? Springfield has been working on the Afina field. They conducted some exploration. They have indicated that they believe strongly that that field holds a huge potential and that field is prolific. Don't forget that I'm the minister who issued the directive on the, unitization.
Sure.
Against Springfield. That's on record. I issued that directive. Now Springfield has approached government, GNPC and Explorco, and said as a Ghanaian company, they've invested so much. Where they have gotten to, they think that they will need some support. As minister, what I will do is that I want an independent, fair valuation of that field. An independent, fair, technical valuation and commercial valuation of that field. If that field proves to have the potential, could have already gone through the exploration phase, which is the most riskiest part when it comes to oil production, and it proves that that field holds a huge potential, we would engage Springfield and give them whatever support that is required. If it does not meet the criteria, forget about it. It's as simple as that.
Great. Before we get into the potential and all, what's the challenge with, Springfield beginning production? Why are they unable to do that?
Commercial, raising funding, has pushed to a certain level, and they think that where they've raised, they need some support. And as an indigenous company, any indigenous company, whether in the oil sector, in the power sector, or any other sector, if an indigenous company pushes legitimately, and please let me qualify this word, legitimately, to a certain level where they are struggling, I think that the state should come in and support that company.
Okay, so you say that if they meet the criteria, why not? Let's look at the criteria. What's the criteria they must meet before you're going to invest in it?
Does the field hold a potential? Is the field prolific? Is the state going to benefit if it takes a stake in that field? That is one. That is the technical aspect. The commercial aspect. They made a claim that they spent some money. Have they indeed spent those money? Can we validate those expenditures? Very, very critical. And let me be frank with you. I want to maintain my integrity on this matter. I'm determined to help any Ghanaian company. But I'll never bend the rules. I'll never bend fair principle. And so I take all the comments from SF and all those civil society organizations. It helps us shape what we are doing. Whatever report becomes ready, I'll make it available to all of them, and we will all discuss the way forward.
Okay, so since you talk about the fact that if it's commercially viable, what would constitute commercial viability to you?
There's a criteria, and that will be done by a credible, independent valuation company or institution. There are companies, that is their job. They have to tick all the boxes. How many potential barrels are you getting? What is the cost? What is the break-even point? How much have they spent? How long can you produce that oil? When will it plateau? When will it begin to decline? That is their job. They are trained to do that. And these are international companies that have the reputation. I've already tasked the Petroleum Commission, and they are identifying the 3-tier top companies or institutions. They would engage them based on the TOR, and then we can make progress. So we are not even at the point of saying this is the value, should government pay or not. But this idea that kick them out and just assume the block, I'm not going to do that as minister.
Now, in your initial discussions that you've held, in the initial conversations and discussions that you've held, what's the sense you get of the commercial viability?
The sense I get is that we need an independent assessment, a detailed, incontrovertible assessment, and a report that meets best practice. And that is what we are going to do. They've told us the huge potential. Very good. But that is not enough. Let us do a detailed assessment, and then we'll take it from there.
But when you started the conversation, you talked about the fact that this is commercially viable. So let me just get a clarification from you, because you say this is a viable project. Is that based on your understanding, or that's based on what you've been told by a committee of experts?
That's based on the briefing I get from all the team, from the Petroleum Commission. Because what I get is that it's possible. And viability means that you can do something with it through a tieback.
If that's the briefing, enough. If that's the briefing you get, then is it not a foregone conclusion then that what we're about to do is just to confirm a briefing that you have?
Not at all. And then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. If I were convinced that we should proceed, then we won't ask all these independent assessments. Viability means you can potentially do something with it. It is viable. But then you must go beyond just saying that it is viable to meeting all the necessary preconditions and checking the box on every aspect of it. And like I said, we'll make this report available to everybody. We are not going to do anything shrouded in secrecy. Before we took a decision to cancel the so-called unitization, we consulted a lot. The Petroleum Commission had to do a report. Springfield had to do some drilling. We made that available. The bottom line, and let me re-emphasize this, this is a Ghanaian company. If it turns out that we can work with them, we will. If it turns out that the report does not justify investing even one cedi in that field, we will not do that. And take it from me, we will not do that.
Now, ASEP actually make the point that the Petroleum Commission makes damning findings which contradict claims of Springfield. They say the commission thinks that the flow should be around, say, 500 barrels per day, and the claim of more than 5,000 barrels per day by Springfield is not supported by the data presented. What do you say?
That is why we need somebody to validate it. What you think is good, the other person thinks the other way. Let's get a credible, independent institution to do the validation. And the Petroleum Commission supports that position. This is not just the position of the Minister of Energy. I had a meeting with Petroleum Commission, GNPC, and Explorco. And Petroleum Commission makes it clear that they did not say that that field holds no potential. They only disagree with the so-called flow rate. So the next question is, what is the actual flow rate? Let somebody with that expertise do that. If they do that and they confirm that the flow rate is not good, we close the case. We go home. We need oil.
Now, but
you know that we need that resource. So let's explore and see whether there is that potential. As simple as that.
Yeah, but while we need that resource, we also need to ensure that it's value for money. We need to ensure that what we are acquiring, we get enough out of it. Now, if the commission here, the Petroleum Commission, has doubts and it's that institution that you would trust to do this, when you say you want to have an independent body do same, do I get the impression you do not trust what the Petroleum Commission or the doubts they've raised about this project?
The Petroleum Commission has not concluded that don't do anything with the field. I think you agree with me on that. The Petroleum Commission says, yes, there's a potential, but we have some doubts. And Minister says, let's clear the doubts. That's value for money. That's the best way forward. That's best practices. And like you said, we do not want to go and throw money into this venture only to regret. And so let's do the initial work. Let's do what every reasonable, rational minister will do. And that is what I'm doing. We've not said that we're going to buy the field and that we believe this is the value of the field. So let's pay X amount. No. We're saying that let's exhaust all the investigation. Let's do a detailed analysis. And the data and the findings will speak for itself. I think that's a better approach. What is the alternative? If I may ask, what is the alternative?
Tell me.
The alternative is to do a good job. There's no other alternative than what we are doing.
Honorable Minister, I just want us to check some of the numbers that we know so far. So far, we know that the estimated quantity of oil in the WCTP Block 2 is 1.5 billion barrels of oil.
That's a lot.
We're also told that we have 0.7 trillion cubic feet of gas.
That's a lot.
And we are told that the depth of the discovery was about 4,000 meters.
That's discoverable. You can process it.
Okay, and we are also told that we can unlock a potential 12,000 barrels per day.
Thank you very much. 12,000 means a lot for Ghana.
Now, last year in October, if I remember, 28th October, the CEO of Springfield suggested that Springfield had spent $200 million on the field.
That's not enough. I need to validate that.
And they need just $65 million to complete the works and start pumping oil. So is this what you guys are going to verify?
Beyond that. That's not even enough. We'll go beyond that.
Now,
we'll go beyond what you've read and what somebody claims.
Okay.
We want to go in detail.
GNPC and Explorco also own a stake in the field right now. Is that the case?
I think so, yes. Yes, because by law, GNPC ought to have a certain free carried interest. And then after the exploration, when discovery is made, and that is where I want to focus on, that means that there's oil discovered. So the risk has been reduced. The state can now increase its stake. And that's where we are.
So as it stands now, we know Springfield as the operator has about 84%. GNPC and Explorco have the remaining. So what are the outcomes Ghanaians should expect from this work you are doing? And what are the timelines you can give us?
Thank you. An independent, fair, transparent process that emphasizes on value for money. That emphasizes on competent technical evaluation. After that, I'll meet all these CEOs. Take it from me. I'll meet it, and I consult them a lot. Maybe I don't have to put it. I spoke to Ben, and I thanked him. He really advised me and gave me a lot of impetus. And I thanked him. And you can ask him. I thanked him for his perspective. Others also called me and advised me as minister. The minister cannot be somebody who knows it all. And so I'm guided by all these comments and advice. But let's do what is right. Let's do what is proper. So that tomorrow when I leave office, I can turn back and say I did a good job.
Now, Honorable Minister, I wanted specific outcomes. So, for example, that you will establish the total quantities of oil and gas. You will establish the investment that has been made and investment yet to be made, and the timelines. You estimate that you can do this within, say, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, so that Ghanaians know that in 3, 4, 5, 6 months we are going to get another asset that's going to support our economic development.
Well, I thought I did that. I said that we want to know the real potential, the recoverable barrels, the actual cost that Springfield says it has spent, because that will then determine what you want to pay them, assuming we meet all the criteria. And we need to validate. It's not enough for Springfield to say, I spent 200. Where did you spend $1? Who did you pay? Did you even pay the right amount? Because there are standards. You can't just tell us that you drill a well and it was 50 million. When the standard is that it should be, say, 20 million. So I'm even going beyond what you are saying. Timelines is now the issue. We have 3 companies. Let's have a session with them. Let's see the work they are going to do, and then we can agree on the timeline. And when we agree on the timeline, we'll make that available as well.
Okay. Now, if you look at some of the concerns that ASEP has raised, for instance, and I'll just stay with the first 2 because those are the questions they're raising. They say the oil block belongs to the state. Contractors are supposed to take the risk and share the benefits when they succeed. When contractors fail, the state's duty is to reclaim its assets and not underwrite the losses of private companies. Honorable John Jinapor.
Thank you. We are dealing with an indigenous Ghanaian company. It's not as if they took the field and sat doing nothing. So that is not comparable. Normally where I revoke a license is when you've been granted a license to go and explore. You are given, say, 3 years and you do nothing. We would revoke and take over the assets. But when an indigenous company has spent money, gone ahead to drill, conducted an appraisal, and shows that there is some potential, I will not terminate that agreement. I will sit with that company, look at what they've done so far, and determine whether we can help that company so that it will encourage other Ghanaian companies to venture into that field. If they do not meet that criteria, we will terminate that agreement and assume the block.
Now, if you're saying if an indigenous company fails to meet the conditions precedent and subsequent, instead of, say, the state taking over that asset, you are prepared to sit down with them and find out how the state can support them, in this case, buy them out?
I did not say that. Let me re-emphasize.
Go ahead.
Let me be emphatic. I did not say that. I said that there are some conditions. They've met the condition of drilling. They've met the condition of appraisal. They are getting to the level of development. So the two are not the same. They've done a lot of work. They've undertaken a lot of risk. They've invested a lot of money. And as minister, I will sit with them and have a discussion with them. And that is what I'm doing.
Great. We need to have you in studio so we can have this conversation in depth. So how about...
Yeah, let's all keep watching. Let's follow this process.
Yes, but then, how about we have this conversation on Monday in studio?
Well, let me have an off-air discussion with you.
Okay, no problem.
So we can agree on something.
Sure. Kojo has a final question for you.
Honorable JJ. Yes, Honorable JJ.
Yes.
I hope to see you at that place we met the last time, very soon. But VTLC is under you, right?
Yeah, they've just brought it under me. It was under Ministry of Transport, but there's been some realignment. So now it's just been brought under the Ministry of Energy.
Okay. Now, Honorable, over 10 million people live within the catchment area of VTLC's operation. And over 85% of them use unsafe means to travel across the Volta Lake. I can personally tell you that I've been on all the ferries, and majority of them have only one engine out of 2 working. And over the past 10 years, we've lost close to 600 people on the Volta Lake. Do you have any plans to get more vessels and to get the VTLC retooled to help people?
Yes, yes, yes. In fact, I'm working around the clock to set up a fund. And what I see is that we have to be innovative. Look, if MPA has some money, if Ghana has some money, and I'm looking at their books, because the fiscal is tight. You can't take a loan because of the IMF program of finances. I'll go with a policy to cabinet for approval, so we can escrow some money, leverage that, and acquire some new boats. So we are working on that. And I'm very happy you've brought this up. So Okojo, you have a work to do with me. I would invite you, and then together we can work on it, and I'll take the credit.
Okay, thank you. We'll be following up on that. It's a project we have taken upon ourselves.
I'm grateful you brought it up. I'm so grateful.
That you fix the problems for the people in the area. Thank you so much for joining us this
morning.
Thank
you. Thank you.